Hey everybody, welcome back. I got some Star Wars news. Now, this is very much rumor speculation. I'm not putting too much into this, but still, it's a semi-interesting kind of story. So over on Nerdist, they made a whole article from a tweet that Kevin Smith made, which usually tells you how hungry they are for content, but at the same time, I'm doing a video based on the article, based on a tweet that Kevin Smith made. So I can't really say much because that'd be a bit hypocritical. But it's Star Wars, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. Over at the Nerdist, there's an article called Star Wars Could Easily Bring Back Han Solo for Episode 9. You know, and the thing is, I think this is almost where we are with some of the insanity of just how jarbled this whole thing is with Star Wars and how it's dealing with some of the original characters. The fact that people are even talking about bringing Han Solo back, it's just like, okay, you know, it's like, oh man. Anyway, all right, so this is where we're at. Posted by Donna Dickens. Alrighty, so Double D says, no one ever wakes up in the morning and thinks, I want to write a theory about how Han Solo could come back to life after The Force Awakens. It's a ludicrous notion. Yes, it is. People in Star Wars might occasionally return from the dead as Force ghosts, but they never simply undie. Yet, here I am, dear reader, with such a theory to unfurl. And it's all thanks to Kevin Smith and a description from a novel about the largest weapon in the galaxy, Starkiller Base. After news broke that Billy Dee Williams could reprise his role as Lando in Star Wars Episode 9, professional fanboy how can I become a professional fanboy? So, like, does he get paid for? Well, I mean, he gets paid. He's got all those podcasts and everything. Professional fanboy Kevin Smith took to Twitter with an off-the-wall idea. So Hollywood Reporter, had the article about Billy Dee Williams returning as Lando, and Kevin Smith wrote, if due to a time travel device or the Force, there's a plot development that allows Lando to repeat his Empire Strikes Back line, there's still a chance to save Han and get us back to that fateful bridge on Circular Base, then I'll kiss JJ on the mouth. I'll French him even. Now, obviously, he's making a joke, but honestly, I mean, if that actually happens, yeah, kissing JJ would not be what I would... That's not the first thing that comes to my mind. Almost immediately, Smith received pushback in the comments from fans. The death of Han Solo was an emotionally devastating moment that would lose its narrative oomph if it were retroactively nullified. That's half true. I mean, first off, the thing is, no one was shocked when he died. Everyone knew. I mean, unfortunately, it's one of those situations where, first off, everyone knew he was going to die. Everyone knew that Harrison Ford did not want to play Han Solo anymore. Everyone knew that, even going back to Jedi, that he wanted the character to die. So, I mean, even when it happened, it's like, yeah, I think there was like one person who gasped. I don't... I think the rest was just kind of sitting there. Yes, Star Wars already did this with Obi-Wan's death and Yoda's death and Darth Maul's deaths. Okay. And Captain Phasma's death, probably twice, let's be real. I'm sure she'll be back for a third go-around. But this is different. And how could Han have even survived? Well, we can answer that with a bit of lore surrounding the Starkiller Base. It was there that the First Order lay a stranglehold on the galaxy, and this was also where Han Solo lost his life. But due to the fast-paced nature of third-act climactic battles, no one stopped to explain exactly how the planet-sized weapon worked. That's what novelizations are for, and in the Star Wars Force Awakens novelization by Alan Dean Foster, there's plenty of time to explain how Starkiller functions. Short answer, no one knows. Long answer, the First Order was putzing with things they didn't understand. I wrote about the changes between the way Starkiller Base functioned in the film versus the canon novel when it was first published, but here is the pertinent section. Starkiller Base did not originally drain the sun. It was powered by dark matter. One of the few head scratchers in The Force Awakens was how the Starkiller Base actually worked. Was it draining one sun after another and then moving on? How did it shoot a beam across the galaxy in real time? Why did it turn into a sun at the end other than the visual metaphor of the light Wait a minute. Did it turn into a sun? I thought it just exploded. Wait, did I miss something? I mean, I know I'm not crazy about The Force Awakens, but I've seen it a couple times. I don't remember it turning into another sun. Okay. Let's return. Turns out it was never supposed to be powered by the sun. They say that in the movie? though. But anyway, situated in one place, messing with science they didn't understand, the First Order was harvesting dark matter to power their weapon. As the matter congealed to be sucked into the core, the light was supposed to dim. Then, using more science they barely understood, they beamed the concentrated dark matter through the galaxy instead of across it. Basically, they were ripping holes in time-space. Oh, and the target didn't explode originally. It turned into a tiny sun. Well, again, where was that? I don't remember any of that in the film. I thought these places literally just exploded. Lucasfilm is trying to marry both versions of Circular Base to fit into the lore. Okay, none of this is really making too much sense. Maybe I'm just not understanding it. So what does this mean for Han Solo? It means he fell into the bowels of a piece of technology that may have, in part, been designed by aliens so ancient that they've been forgotten by the rest of the galaxy. Oh, man. Aliens in the expanded universe that were called the Architects and had gizmos that would make Circular Base look like a speak and spell. Eventually, the Architects evolved into the canon demigods known as the Ones. Regardless of origin, Han Solo definitely fell to his alleged death inside a weapon that punches holes in space and time. That leaves open a lot of possibilities. You can't just rip open the fabric of reality and expect people not to crawl inside to see what it is. Okay, this is almost over. So it's entirely possible Lando could find a hole in the tapestry. We've come to see the tapestries of linear time and decide to pilot the Falcon back to rescue Han from certain death. Or maybe more Architects lay slumbering at the core of Circular Base, and Han's fall awakens them and they revive him with the tech magic trademark. What? Or maybe Kylo Ren realizes the error of his ways and asks Rey for help to undo the horrors he unleashed that... Oh, man. What? Any of those is possible using the lore foundation already in the films, and that's before you add in the kicker from Star Wars Rebels, straight up time travel. In the Rebels episode, A World Between Worlds, Ezra Bridger uses the Force to enter a dark realm that exists outside of time and space. Inside this realm are portals to specific points in time. Then shenanigans occur, and Ezra and Ahsoka Tano barely escape with their lives, but the cornerstone was set. The Ones have power over time itself, which means there's still a chance to save Han. But should they? That's a whole separate conversation. So there's several things wrong that's being put forth here. First of which, if you start introducing time travel into Star Wars, it's okay that they sort of did something on Rebels. I don't have a huge problem with that, and I'm sure they were very specific. I haven't seen the episode, but I would assume that they handled it very delicately, and we're trying to be pretty careful about how that sort of played out. But once you introduce that into the films and stuff, it sort of turns into The Last Jedi hyperspace to take out, most of the fleet kind of scenario, where once you introduce something like that, then the question comes like, well, okay, why don't you just do that all the time? Why don't you have one ship that's always designed to just go into hyperspace and take out an enemy fleet? And that's the same thing with time travel. It probably even more so with time travel, is that you can't just introduce time travel as a means to, in this case, just, attempt to bring back one character, because then it's there going forward. The problem is then, it's like, okay, then you're jumping more into Terminator time frames. It's like, then why don't people just go back in time and, stop the First Order from being created, or stop the Republic from taking on more of what, it's just, there's too much here that's going to be problematic. It's, it's like, okay, or you do a Back to the Future, go back in time and stop Han and Leia from having a kid. Whatever. And the other aspects about this are just the fact that, first off, Han Solo didn't die in the fall. He was killed by a lightsaber. Then he fell. But he was pretty sure he was pretty much already dead. So you'd have to then go back before all of that took place. And the thing is, then you mess up Kylo Ren's journey if you start messing around, and it's just, oh man. And now granted, again, this is all, this is not official in any way, but still, but even the fact that there's rumblings possibly Harrison Ford coming back. Now, if he came back, I assume it would be more of a flashback kind of scenario, be a cameo sort of thing, I assume. But it's the kind of thing where, even in that case, I almost have to ask, like, just why? What is it with these? I made the South Park joke, about the member berries, and it's like, that's kind of what this feels like. Just like they're just throwing everything against the wall, and like, well, let's hope this sticks, and fans start buying all our crap again. And the only reason why people are even wondering this beyond, I mean, this isn't just like because Kevin Smith tweeted something. This is also because Indiana Jones 5 is set to happen. Whether or not that's good news or bad news, we will see. The release date got pushed back until 2021, I believe. And some people are speculating that part of that is so that Harrison Ford's schedule can open up so that he can have some role in episode 9. Granted, again, that's speculation, but again, at this point, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Again, with everything that's kind of going on over there, it's just I don't really understand what they're doing anymore with Star Wars. And it's just like, and it's hard because again, it's like, I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan. I have been my whole life. And to kind of watch what they're doing, and like, it doesn't make any sense. For those of you who dislike the prequels, I just have to say, I mean, at the end of the day, you can, at least the argument is made. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with the prequels. I actually love them quite a bit. But the fact of the matter is, George Lucas had a plan and a story mapped out. You can have your issues with it, and that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it was, everything was planned out. In the case of these new ones, it's just like, everything seems scattered. I mean, I know J.J. Abrams had sort of a rough outline, and Rian Johnson ignored a good chunk of it for Last Jedi and sort of did his own thing and everything. But I mean, I don't even know how rock solid J.J. Abrams' outline was. We'll wait and see. We got a year and a half before the movie comes out. I think once they actually start filming, which I believe is coming up, we'll kind of get some more, not so much story details, but at least kind of get an idea. I mean, obviously, if you see Harrison Ford walking around a Star Wars set, there's a good chance somebody's going to leak that. So again, we'll see what happens. There's always crazy Star Wars news going on. I'm trying to be a little particular about what I choose to comment on because there's so much craziness out there, but it's so hard not to talk about some of this stuff. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.